What is good, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Bodybuilding Prospect with your host Al and myself, Mr. G Dubs. Been a little bit of a while since we've done an episode, but seems like I start this off every time saying the same thing. It has been fucking manic recently. Everything, both ends, has been flat out for us. Not a bad thing.
Life is busy.
Yeah,
life is fucking busy. But I get really pissed off when I'm not doing anything. So,
yeah, swings and roundabouts. Anyway, Al, give them a little heads up on where you're at.
So, busy, as we said. It was my birthday last week, and I wanted to jump on what fucking the ladies do and do a birthday week and plan so much stuff so you extend your period of fun. And it's tiresome, as obviously George knows. From the last week, I got attacked by dogs. I traveled to the Midlands to see Joe. I went out for dinner with my lovely lady. What else did I do? I went out drinking for the first time this year, which obviously wasn't fun at the end of it. It was fun during, it wasn't fun the next day. I had a kebab. What else went down? Family dinner. Client boxing event. It was just so much that went on. Like every day there was something, and I was burnt out. And I didn't even play railway. None of that week. I was just mullered. But yeah,
nice, mate. The dogs were cool. That was real cool. See, it's just seeing how they work, seeing how they trained was savage. It's very similar to bodybuilding, man. Their routine that they have, the meals, timing, everything is so like militant. It just, I can see why like Joe and that have got into it, because there's a lot of similarities in like how they live their life and how they make the dogs live theirs. It's cool.
Yeah, of course. It was all new to me to see it all happen, like how a protection dog's treated, like the way they live and things like that. Different. It is different. Especially when you're like us and you've been growing up around house pets as a dog, and come chill with me on the sofa, all that sort of shit. He ate something out the bin, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? It's little shit. It's very different with them, like, going on a crate and things like that, and the way they're trained, because it's not for fun, is it? It's for purpose.
Yeah.
And once you see why, and when the dog's in action, it's like, oh wow, that's impressive. The best thing was seeing the dog in work mode, like for example Hunter, and then coming back to Joe's place and he turns into an absolute sop. And I was like, dude, I just see you sprinting at 50 miles an hour, biting a dude in the arm, and then you come back here and you're like licking my face. Like, what's going on?
This is the thing, though, like some of them, like Dagger, Harkos, and the other guys, German Shepherd, they're bred and trained for one thing only, right? So they don't know any different. They are working dogs. They're not pets. But like for us, like you said, with family pets and then seeing the transition, it hits you a bit. You're like, oh, that doesn't feel right, because that's not how I've grown up around dogs. And then when you see Hunter's special, because his ability to switch it on and off is insane. He knows when that collar goes on, that's it. It's work mode. I'm going to do my job. And then when the specific harness or that comes off, it literally, like you said, he's back to licking your fucking head, like just being a soppy prick, wanting attention. It's great.
It was getting taken down was the fun thing.
That was so funny.
For people that haven't seen the video on my Instagram, this dog, right? They were like, who's going first to get bitten? Obviously, we knew we were going to get bitten on the arm by the dog, things like that. He was like, right, what we need to do is I want you to run that way. And when you're ready, just put your arm out like this, like to the side, bent, for people that are obviously not watching. And obviously the dog will get you. I was like, okay, the dog will get me. I'm standing there and he's like, yeah, go and run. And I'm like, I don't want to run, because I know exactly what's about to happen. I'm about to get chased by a German Shepherd, and he's going to jump at me, he's going to bite me. I take off, I get 5 steps with my fucking lumpy dwarf self, and he hooks onto my arm and he swings around and he takes me down. But the scariest thing was I landed on the dog. So, and he made a fucking noise, mate, like a growl. Like I was like, I hope he's not pissed. Like
It's the way you tumbled. Like he dragged you to the floor, then kind of went underneath you and pulled you over. Like he literally somersaulted you. It was so
funny. It was just pure fucked me up. There's no cool way about it. He fucked me up. And I was just laying on the floor while he's tugging on my arm. And I was like, I do not want to move right now.
I'm just going to let him do his thing and hope he don't bite me.
Yeah. And he was like, let go of it when you're ready. I was like, bam, see you later. And obviously the dog runs off with the sleeve like a treat almost. He's like, yeah, I got it. Another scary thing was when I was everyone standing around chilling, the dog's fine. But when you put like the bite suit on or the sleeve on, obviously the dog knows that's what he's got to get.
Yeah.
So he was just staring like, there's absolutely eyeballing me. And yeah, I've never had that before. Never had a dog eyeball me like he wants to kill me.
It's intimidating, isn't it?
Bro, and then if people have seen it before where they train the dog to bark in someone's face, like to like tell them to fuck off, like it's like be stand off of them. He's standing there pissing the dog off deliberately, like with the whip thing. When I say whip thing, I'm not saying he's whipping the dog for people that don't.
No, it's a noise thing. It makes it.
Yeah, it just makes the noise next to the dog. So obviously the dog's like, he knows game time, like let's go. And he is like this in my face, barking, and you just see the teeth, the eyes. It's pissed, you know. And then he goes, yeah, right, go and run now. What do you mean go and run? You think I want to run? I want to run.
He looks like a demon as well.
Honestly.
He looks savage. Jesus Christ.
But
I was well impressed with how fast I ran. I was well impressed.
I had loads of people on Instagram taking the piss out of my Star Wars.
Out of us?
No, I was slow. I'm pretty sure you were quicker than me, mate. I was
really out of there like a bat out of hell. I was gone.
You're lighter these days. It probably helps.
No, you're not wrong. I said to Joe when you went over, I went, there's no way I can let that thing pull me down now. I've got to stay. So I can't let him pull me over. I can't.
now it's pulled him. I've got to be the one that stands up.
Yeah, trust me.
I watched the dog show before, like a police dog show, and then they were taking people down. So I've seen it happen. So I was half expecting it to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely folded me. And then we got to train in the doghouse, which is Joe's gym. Just a sick vibe. Like it's like, you know, when you like go around your mate's house for some beers. It's like that, but gym.
It's like that, but gym.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's a fucking cool setup. The equipment he's got in there is just second to none.
It's just, yeah, where there was a few of us in there, it can be a bit crowded and you're waiting for stuff, but still, like, that'd be sick to have.
Yeah. Like
your favorite pieces of kit to have in a gym.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. It was fucking cool. But yeah, recent bodybuilding shows. What's been going down recently?
I
mean, I had
Nick Walker's going to win the Mr. Olympia.
I don't know, man. I really, it would be such a cool story to be like, he come out, he said he was going to do this, he did it. He come out, he said it again, he did it. Like he just keeps ticking boxes. I want to see him do it for that reason. Yeah. But as much as he's improved, Ramy, I think he's got a fucking sick physique, but Ramy's just something different, man. And he's improving as well. His last updates were fucking ridiculous.
I think if Ramy comes in the smallest bit off,
there's always that.
Nick Walker will not be
off
out of shape. He won't be.
Whereas Ramy still, when we look at like the ratios of him landing it and him being off, it's still in favour of chances of him being off.
Since he joined Chad Nichols and Dennis James, like those guys, he hasn't missed. Obviously, he won Mr. Olympia twice.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, as massive fans of the sport, would I love to see him win it again? Yeah, because he's like a gentle giant, isn't he, Big Ramy? He's a sound. And he made the effort to fucking learn fluent English through his time. And that's what the course. And when he came out last year, he just come out on the microphone and was like, how you doing, guys? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this man couldn't even speak English like last time.
Yeah.
So fair play to him. This what makes you wish I was almost like from the East at all, because their bodybuilding culture and fan base, you're like a superhero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Round here, you just what you call a big cunt. That's it. But you go to one of these other countries and you're like Superman. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. They treat you like fucking. It's like the equivalent of like football players and stuff, isn't it? Like they literally see you like celebrities.
Yeah, it's like even when he turned up back in Egypt, they had like big banners at the airport, like "Welcome, Mr. Olympia, Big Ramy." That's fucking savage.
Yeah, like, cool. Like being welcomed back from that. But yeah, no, Nick's fucking flying at the minute, man. He's every time you see another picture, it's like, what the fuck is what is going on?
Not that he needs us to tell him that he's fucking doing well at all. But as in, like we say, we speak as fans because you know there's gonna be a misfit out there. Like, oh, what are you doing saying he's like? It's like, oh, you're doing well, bro. He don't need us telling him he's doing well. But
it's observations of fans of the sport, man. Like you said, it's just looking at what's going on at the minute. What about Blessing?
Blessing looked great.
I don't know whether, don't get me wrong, improvements are definitely made, but like the tweaks to his posing, I think, made a massive impact to how his lower body looked.
Yeah, I only saw the pictures and I was like, well, now he's a bodybuilder. Now he's a bodybuilder. Fair play to him.
Yeah, it was insane. I'm excited to see if he can take the New York Pro. I'll be excited to see that.
Justin Rodriguez will win.
Mate, it's bodybuilding, isn't it?
If because that's why Justin didn't win, because he came in off. That's all it was.
Yeah, but he's planning for the next one, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, but no, not that. No, he's already done a few shows. But Justin, he's a top 10 Olympian, has been. He'll just win. Like, you know what I mean? If he doesn't win, they wouldn't want to see someone like that not come to the Olympia, if that makes sense. Like politically, he will win, or politically, someone else like that will win.
But I'd like to think that's not how bodybuilding works, man.
Bro,
come on.
Blessing's already won. Yeah, they can clean up a few more shows, but I don't know.
I don't think it is how, because look at Ian Valier when he competes, man. He wins a pro show, gets his Olympia qualification, he goes, fuck it, I'm in shape, I'm doing another one, and he took out thingy spot last time, didn't he?
Steve Kuklo.
Yeah, he took out Steve's last year. So
yeah,
like
because people tried to give him shit for it, like competing again and again. Bro, I'm a pro bodybuilder. That's 30 grand.
How he earns his cash. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't necessarily think that's how. I'd like to think that's not how it works. And looking at how Ian does it, where he just competes and wins all the shows, or as many as he can. Yeah. I'd like to think it'd be a little bit more fair than that.
I'd just like to see, because when it was a toss up between Brandon Curry and him at one of the earlier shows, I was like, okay, Justin Rodriguez might have beaten Mr. Olympia here.
Yeah.
And then it was William, because I think he was in the mix up William, but was it the same show where it was, no, William Burnett weren't there, but it was Justin, I think Samson. Am I confusing shows here? But either way, Justin was looking like, this dude is, you know, someone walks out and you're automatically impressed.
Yeah.
And I was like, this dude's fucking, I weren't even a massive fan of him before, and I'll be honest. And then see that, it's like, god damn, this guy, okay. And then he nearly won. I just like to see it happen, you know?
It's going to be a good Olympia this year either way. There's so many stories going on. The Hunter Nick thing, I think, like, there's not a lot, I haven't seen a lot from Hunter.
I guarantee Hunter LeBron don't like him.
No, yeah, but I don't care about the personal shit. On stage, like, it was just interesting. Hunter beat Nick last time. There was some uproar about it.
He shouldn't have beat him.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? The judges see what they see. Like, we can't say really. Yeah. It's just opinion, isn't it? It'd be interesting to see if he brings himself up. Like, we see Nick's progress week after fucking week.
I don't think he's got that much better that he's going to be able to beat Nick Walker.
I think whatever.
I reckon it'd be like 6th, 7th.
Whatever they saw in Hunter that beat Nick last year, I think Nick's done more than enough to surpass that and be like undeniably better. But we'll see.
He'll dwarf him.
You got Hadi to worry about as well.
Hadi coming back, yeah. Easily a top 3 guy, if not a Mr. Olympia winning guy.
That's what I mean.
William Bonac coming at his bro. He beat everyone hands down last time.
Yeah. I hear you. But when you got the likes of Ramy, Nick Walker, like Hunter, I don't think Bonac's above them anymore.
No, Hadi replaces Bonac as the small jack dude, if that makes sense.
The 2-1-2 whammer.
The 2-1-2 whammer. Did you see Flex Lewis's announcement as well?
I was a little. I was partly gutted because I really did want to see him turn up to the O and just
Mate,
fucking storm everyone.
Funny you should say that. Like I watched his podcast. He's got a podcast that talks about it.
I'm sorry, but I tried watching it. I got halfway in. So I can't deal with the Welshness.
Really?
It was so like, I don't know. It was something about it, man. I can't tell. I can't listen to this.
Yeah, I've been around Welsh people a lot of my life, so it's just normal talking to me. You fucking racist.
It's not racist. I wasn't really understanding what's going on.
Whatever it goes, you can't understand him because he said to all the people that said, "Oh, I knew he'd never do it. Oh, he do that." He was like, "Fuck you, fuck you." He was like, "Nobody wanted it more than I did." Yeah, and because he said the only reason why he stayed in bodybuilding was to become the champ. He wanted to be the guy.
Yeah,
and you can see it in his face, mate. It was breaking him. Like he said, "I've got to accept that I'm not going to be that guy." But
it's a sensible decision, though. You can see why he's done it, man. There won't be anyone to even touch that legacy for a long time.
No,
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if 2-on-2 is even a category long enough for someone to make that happen. You know?
Yeah, it's just midget bodybuilding, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think Sean Clarida, Flex, Haddy moving up. Fucking when he did it. Same with Bonac starting off there and moving up. Like, I think the amount of people that are seeing it happen, that they're just realizing that the 2-on-2 guys are just smaller open guys, and that most of them, even though they weigh a lot less, can contend. The best can contend for the open.
Or what they should do is they should bring the weight cap up.
But then
you should have like a 235, 225, maybe.
But then
I don't know. Originally, it used to be 202.
Just go to open. Like if you're going to keep increasing the weight cap, just go bun it, get big, and jump in the open.
Yeah, but you know what they were saying about the health thing?
Yeah.
Why not just increase the weight cap of that so you've got a mid-range? Does that make sense?
It's still like them guys that are in 2-on-2 pushing up to 235. For some of them, that would still be jeopardizing.
Yeah, but I'm not on about them. I'm on about normal guys, like guys say around 5'8", 5'9", who can be, or it's like 5'10" even.
But then you're going to run into a position where it's like, fuck it, we need to have a weight cap for everyone from 180 to 190, 190 to 2 to 210.
Well, they got a fucking weight cap in everything else.
Yeah, no, I hear boxing, fucking everything. They have weight caps for a reason, but at some point it blurs the lines too much. Like, how do you? The whole classic fucking physique people argument at the moment. Like, some of the men's physique guys are fucking as big as the classic dudes, and some of them have bigger legs than the classic dudes. They just hide them on the shorts.
Then you can have an overall.
Yeah, but it's just, I think it's too much of a change from what's classed as like norm now of what we expect to see. And you got to think, like, how are they going to run that on Showtime schedule for the day and shit? Like, you can't have
minutes Showtime schedule, bro. That make it work.
You can't have like, what, they're going to bump the price up and do a 4-day Olympia just so they can fit everyone in.
No, because there was people who had the views on trying to bin off 2-day shows.
I think it's right.
I think it's right. I think you should have pre-judge in the morning, finals in the evening. That's it.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
You got 12 hours to hold a peak.
Diuresis don't work like that, G. If you're going to land in the morning, you don't want to land dried off in the morning. You want to be like en route, so you dry off by sort of 3/4 of the day, ready for the evening.
Yeah.
It'd be, you see a lot more sloppy people in the morning.
Yeah.
No more of that.
We've got the 5 guys in the belly.
I was going to say, no more of that Dubai protocol, half a diazide and the 5 guys.
The half diazide and the 5 guys.
Oh, dear.
Now, what is it? Just fucking 1 aldactone a day, 25 mg. Load it in, G.
Yeah. Growing into peak week. Right.
Yeah, let's grow into peak week, bro.
Right. Okay.
Let's grow into the show. Of course you fucking did. You're on gear, you cunt.
I think clarification on that. He means escalating your gear to stupid amounts. That's everyone who's going into prep is obviously on gear, but like people that quote unquote grow into the show are either 1% genetic anomaly or they are abusing, not using. Let's just make that
Do
clear.
but do you believe this is where we can go into actually a nice topic to quickly cover? Say going into a deficit on enhancements,
Okay.
do you believe you can grow muscle tissue?
If again, right, the parameters for that unique scenario, growing tissue whilst losing fat, only exists in some very, very unique situations. One where there is novel stimulus introduced. So let's say you're quite like average body composition, you're jumping on your first cycle, but it happens to line up when you're doing a fat loss phase. That interaction with the androgen receptor is probably going to be enough to make you grow some tissue whilst you pull off body fat. But that is, again, a unique scenario. Maybe if you're in the position for a recon, right? So you've been off the drugs for 5 years, you're still kind of training and stuff, you reintroduce them. Again, perfect opportunity for novel stimulus. Or you haven't trained a day in your life. You start training. You may be in a situation where you pull off body fat and gain tissue, but people at that level are not doing that. They are not.
I'm talking in the case of individuals on cycle.
Yeah, unless you're taking.
No, I'm not saying there's no novel stimulus. There's no, he was off for a bit, he's fresh out. No, I'm on about enhanced athlete, his drug use is low. He then goes through a deficit, his drug use is increased. You know where I'm going with this. His drug use is increasing bi-weekly throughout the deficit. You're saying there's no muscle growth.
I'm saying unless you're a 1% genetic anomaly, no. The drugs will be anti-catabolic, right? They will stop you from losing your tissue, but that is the job in that environment. Right? Fat loss is one thing, surplus and muscle gain is another. Two separate environments.
Wouldn't the argument against, why else would there be an increase in drug load? Because 300 milligram of testosterone alone, I can preach that would keep hold of enough muscle tissue during the deficit.
But would it on a contest prep? You're taking to the extremities.
Obviously, we want to clarify our language about more because it's a vague point, isn't it, going into the show? I'm talking for say it's a 20-week prep. You telling me for the first 12, you can't grow muscle tissue, even though he's in a deficit, being an enhanced athlete, pushing up
deficit, though.
100 milligram of anabolics bi-weekly? I believe he can, because all I'm going through is, for example, this year with my deficit, I believe I grew in my deficit.
That's cool. Anecdotally, people can say what they want.
Look, that's your response. That's cool. That means you're saying no.
That's cool. I'm not denying that. If you see that in anecdotally with you, then that's cool. But I see paper research, clinical data, and I use that as my grounds to.
But also, Big Jeffrey says yes. I'm pretty confident he said yes anyway.
But then, are you in like the first few weeks? Are you really in a deficit, or have you just removed the initial surplus back to baseline maintenance, where increasing the androgen activity, the androgen receptor activity, will lead to some skeletal muscle tissue growth?
No, because the diet change was one. This is why I can confidently say it. The diet was changed once from day one, literally from surplus to deficit. That's it. No diet change.
I'm gonna still hang true with the unless it's extreme.
I like that you can sit there and not be swayed, which is fucking cool, because anyone else can be like, well, maybe.
I'll give you the typical answer: genetics.
Yeah. So anyone listening, George is pretty much saying, Alex, you fucking bullshitting, mate. You ain't even grown no muscle.
You know, increasing anabolics, right? Where you're going to gain interstitial fluid. That's going to carry some weight to it. So if your scale weight doesn't really drop down like you expect it to, and you hold the weight, you probably haven't grown tissue. You're probably just holding a bit more water.
You telling me I added fucking 600 milligram Primo through this deficit, and it just accumulated as water weight?
Turns out I was just a big water balloon.
I'm just a fucking water buffalo. I'm a Primo buffalo.
No, it's a conversation that comes up a lot, and I'll just go off of what I know and what I see.
It's one of those, like, it's a term, don't get me wrong, that's fucked me off a lot. The whole growing into the show thing, like.
But I see you know that they are right. They do grow into the show, but at what cost?
Yeah, like you're saying with the novel stimulus that you're saying, yeah, bro, you were cruising before you jumped into prep. You know, you were on TRT. You jumped in for the first fucking few weeks once you banged all your fucking other cutting stuff, you know, quote unquote, cutting stuff. You're probably going to get some sort of inflammatory response from the end. You are going to grow some muscle tissue.
Again,
without a doubt. Or, as George says, it's just fluid, bruv. Don't worry.
Or the flip side to that is that you are actually abusing, not using. Because there's been some disgusting protocols of drug use coming to show.
I mean, if anyone surpasses the protocols that we've now come across, like where our usage is going/gone, I believe because even that to me, I thought, oh, I'm using a fair amount right now. And then you're coming across these kids who genuinely will do like 3-4 mil of testosterone. When I say 3 or 4 mil, 300 milligram testosterone, that's 300 milligram fucking mil. It's like, bro, you're taking over a gram, like 1.2 grams of testosterone. It's like, what consciously went on what decision did you make that made you think that was the right thing?
I think it's a lack of knowledge, though.
But it's not like, oh my God, you're so thick, because I don't want to call someone thick. It's that people just don't know. It's not
that's not
you're
being,
a thick cunt and you don't care. You just didn't know.
Yeah. But I think it's also the misspread of information in and around it as well. Like all the Australian clients I consult with now.
What's their sort? I bet the conversation's a bit different.
I am seeing some very big trends with their drug use over there. It's not cool, man. It's not cool. It's very old school, very bro, and a lot. Like they're not afraid to. Like I've people coming to me wanting to do their first show, and one cycle. Obviously, I won't mention names of the guys, but one cycle he was running. Now he jumped back on. Was like 800 tests, 1,000 nandrolone, EQ, MK676, like Psalms in the stack as well. And I was just like, whoa! You don't jump out the gate at fucking nearly like a 2 gram total drug load. That's ridiculous. And your compound selection is awful.
I've never even used that much.
This is what I'm saying. Like, using drugs that aren't approved for human use. You're now using Psalms, which is just throw them in the bin as well. But it's consistent, man. I see it with quite a lot of them. I've only had 2 conversations with people where they've said, and they've obviously been coached by relatively good coaches prior, the few that apparently do exist over there, and they're using things like Primo, small amounts of test, HGH, insulin, all them different mechanisms.
You still have, what is it? Sorry, jump in. But even on podcast on Bodybuilding and Bollocks, they were saying some I can't remember who was it that popped up. They were saying they pretty much slated Primo, as in saying that like it was honestly they were saying you've got these new stack designs, even because I think I put together like subconsciously. I'm pretty sure coaches like Chris Cito, ones like that, because I follow a few pros that are coached by him, that he doesn't even use Prima Bola. They like to use the old, like Harry Harris was a guy I'm thinking of. I was talking to on Instagram. He hates the new evidence-based style of coaching. He pretty much indirectly had a dig at like guys like Joe.
But why?
Pretty much saying guys that like, he was like, I'm not going to listen to this because of this fucking study and using compounds of stupidly high dosages, quote unquote primobolan.
Okay, well then instead the other latter option is you carry on using your EQ and your kidney fails 10 years down the line. Fuck off.
Keep on fucking rolling your fucking sus and deca, mate, forever. I honestly, I don't know what your view is on Sustanon, but I don't think I'll ever fucking use it. I'll be honest.
It's just a blend, like
exactly, just a fucking quadruple blend of testosterone. Like, bro, in my opinion, and this is my strong opinion, you know me, my broness, test, of course. But I looked at it, started digging in a little bit, and I was like, do you know what? What a load of fucking shit. What a load of shit. I know people are going to be like, oh, but sus is the shit because I used it. Mate, fair play to you. And if your coach says use sus, fine. But
did it work? Did it work? Yeah, because it's test.
No, it's test. No, I'm not saying it's not going to work. I was just.
And that was me hypothetically that person, saying, it's testosterone.
Because we're not fucking digging at anyone. Let's not do anything like that. Because I've got friends who use it, for example. Like a friend whose coach switched his to Sustanon, and I was looking at it, I was like, oh, let's have a look, because I never really used it. And it's just a fucking proprietary blend. That's all it is.
They're in the factories bulk mixing the tester.
In it, that's what I could picture. And you got this one dude just pouring it out of this fucking jug like this.
I can understand. I think the logic behind using different ester lengths in the same compound. If you didn't understand how they work,
all you're making sure is we're making sure test is always there. You're not, no peaks and troughs.
If you didn't understand how they worked, your head would probably run along the lines of, okay, well, this ester length is shorter, this one's a medium range ester length, this one's a long lasting ester length. If I use all 3 of them, that test will be circulated there, that will drop out, then this one will drop out, and we'll keep. but in actual logic sense, it doesn't really apply or make any difference whatsoever. It just, if you're going to be like that, if you're microdosing, it's all null anyway. But it would just change pinning frequency, and using different ester lengths doesn't really add benefit in any logical sense. I can understand where the brain goes if you didn't understand, but yeah, it's not appropriate. It just doesn't change.
All I can say is I've used test and anthate since the start. That is it. I have never used test prop. I've only ever used mass prop, of course, when it comes to adding the cutting stuff.
Don't call them cutting drugs, man. No, you'll trigger me.
I'm just quoting Fuad because it's so funny. Because he laughs at it as well. He loves it. He's like, "Oh, man, in the cutting stuff," because it's so old school. And that's not me. That's not me dissing it. It's just the old school terminology, and it's fucking because it's true. People do add it when they're cutting, so they call it the cutting stuff. Like, for example, on my deficit, when we added Trembolone in, we're cutting, boy, we're getting the cutting stuff in, you know.
Wait, do you know what? I wouldn't call it a cutting drug, but you can argue Tren has a place in a hypocaloric state. Yeah, Tren has a place in the deficit because of its unique
anti-catabolic.
Yeah, but the glucocorticoid receptor upregulation, it has a benefit within a fat loss phase. So you can probably say, it's a cutting drug because you use it when you cut. You don't really, it doesn't really do anything when you're in the off season that any other steroid is going to do. They all secrete muscle protein increase at the same rate.
Isn't it 5 times more anabolic than testosterone?
Where's I've got the book here. When I was like 17, when I started getting into trying to learn the research, just look into this shit, but I knew nothing about it. I can't remember what the guy's name is. William Llewellyn's.
William Llewellyn,
Llewellyn's Anabolics covers all common performance agents. Mate, honestly, I use it as a book stand now to hold up my laptop. Some of the shit in there is funny. It is funny.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I actually bought that book as an audio, as an ebook.
Yeah.
I can't remember who recommended it. I'm pretty sure it was Neil Arms, mate.
Not good. But yeah, again, this was old research. This is the thing. This is why I get annoyed with people moaning about. I don't like camp mentality terms either, saying evidence-based or whatever, but people using the science advancement we've got going on in the world, right? Why would we not apply that to bodybuilding? Like, everything's progressing at a good rate. We're learning, we're understanding more about the body, how these drugs interact, how they work, how to keep us healthier in the long run. Why is that seen as a negative? It's a bit more complicated. Great. You can't just get your stacks sent through in mill from your coach anymore because it don't work like that. I don't see why it's something negative.
You know, when you pin your delt and then you stretch.
Pit pain. We're just having such an articulated, good conversation there. Yeah. I pinned my delt, it hurts. Fuck's sake, meathead.
I can't help it. It does hurt.
But yeah, no, the Australian, I can see some very different methodology, because is the right word, in their approach to drugs over there is very different. Which is, it's, I don't know, maybe I'd like to hope and think that maybe me being a part of Flex Success and Dean, I could help to make an impact, which is quite cool.
What I was so interested in is finding, like you said, what would their approach be like? What is the gym bro talk over there? Like, you know what I mean? As in, what's their? I'm not trying to say what's their version of the old school Sus and Decker. What were they use? Of course, it's probably the fucking same. You know,
they're just a bit behind. If that makes sense, because I see a lot of old school shit. Like, there's a lot of EQ used. There's a lot of nandrolone thrown in, Deca. Like, these are all very, like, when you look at the trends of drugs through the history, it feels like they're just like 10 years behind. That makes sense. I mean, trying to.
So I was gonna say, what I like is where obviously now I'm more in touch with more coaches, right? And I get to find out what substances they're using. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I know who coaches you. So this is what he likes to use. Like, when they started putting MPP in, and I was like, okay, this is new. I haven't really been hearing anyone using this in a while. What is it? What other ones? Mass P, obviously, was normal. MPP, oxys. What else? Test 400 was another one.
My first cycle, that was.
Yeah, which I still think is fucking stupid.
Mate, it is a funny
Oh yeah, but hang on, but I don't want 300. I want 400 because I'll
it
get
is
more money.
is a funny one for you. So just to say, like, I made mistakes when I was younger as well. I was 19 when I did my first injectable cycle. It started off as test 400, 1 mil per week, and it quickly went to 2 mil per week. So it quickly became an 800 milligram testosterone cycle. Right. So I made them same mistakes when I knew nothing about what I was doing. Right. When I was 19.
Oh, yeah.
Did it do anything great? No. I've made more progress in my physique in the last 2 years than I ever have in my life. But that it comes down to that knowledge in around what we're doing and having people guide you in the right direction that understand what they're doing.
Whilst we're going into first cycles, and like, if anyone ever feels stupid when we have a laugh about these drugs, I was 18 and I was taking Test-Tren and Mast. It's called TTM.
TTM, the old Brit blend.
TTM 500, which is 100. I think it's 200 fucking
test,
200 test, 200 Mast, and 100 milligram of Tren.
Yeah.
Again, it's a proprietary blend of some fucking fella whisking up in a big tub, most likely.
If you was to split them up and use them weekly normally, that wouldn't be bad cycle design.
No, it's because that's perfectly fine. I'm actually, you know what's funny enough? I'm using that right now, but I cannot trust a blend. Because no. Here's the thing: when we first started, we had no idea who was making this stuff. Fortunately enough, as you go through your bodybuilding journey, you're hoping you do find out these things and get to answer these questions. Because, like, when I was getting fake stuff last year, I fucking got lucky, you know, to be like, oh, so and so makes this. Oh, that's sweet. That's nice. So now I know. Mm-hmm. So there's peace of mind with knowing what you're actually using. Because let's be honest, people, they're drugs, you know?
We're buying them from someone who's making them themselves.
Isn't it? Does he use it? Yeah. And that's just peace of mind. That is the biggest fucking winner in my bodybuilding journey, is finding peace of mind for my anxious self. Like, I've got a coach who explains everything. Therefore, that's all covered. That's nice. Why am I doing this? Oh, because of this. Why am I taking this? Oh, because of this. With the drug side, who makes this? Oh, this guy does. Is he taking it? Yeah. He's been doing it loads of years. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, peace of mind. That's the winning answer of bodybuilding. Peace of
human being behavior. It's enough about drugs. We always end up going into the drug side of things.
But it's fucking good to talk about. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying anyone that's fucking taking any of these things we may have taken the piss out of. Bro, if it works, it works. That'll always be one of... George hates it, but I know I'm very much on the side of, are you walking, talking proof that it works? Yes, sweet, crack on. You know, are you possibly damaging your health? Keep an eye on it. You know, maybe take a look at some evidence supporting some of the things that you're doing. If it isn't there, just make a good conscious decision. You know,
all I get annoyed about is the fact that it works, because I'll bring it back to that point about all anabolic steroids roughly secreting muscle protein creation and muscle protein synthesis at the same rate. But it comes to the side effect of what else do these drugs do? This is where the issue is. Like, there could be, great, it's working, man. But if you change this compound for this compound, you're going to get the same result, but without the cost, without the risk, or lesser risk. It's just a better choice.
Yeah.
It's just, again, it's longevity. Because what we do is not safe. Like,
don't be a cheap ass and go for don't go for Mastron instead of Primo, because
why?
You get some hair loss. I've noticed that's been recent.
Oh,
go with me on relation of Mastron use and hair loss.
Well, hair loss is a multifactorial process, and DHT derivatives haven't been shown to directly cause hair loss.
So where does this thing come from with me finding Mastron hair loss?
Gear use causes hair loss. Not just
why in particular once Mastron went in, I was noticing it.
An increase.
When it came back out, I wasn't.
It's an increase in androgens. That you're driving up the main mechanism that could potentially see that, but there's genetic factors to weigh into that conversation. That I haven't lost a single bit of hair since I started my cycles from 19, and that's just because genetically I'm not predispositioned to have that as a problem.
I fucking am. My old man's bald as hell.
Well, there you go. Like, I shave my hair out of choice.
Yeah.
there's someone you want to look into on that one. Victor Black, he's written a lot of good content on hair loss specifically, and dove right in deep to it. It's a very good read.
Oh, he doesn't like me. He blocked me.
Yeah, but you can't take away from people that have a respective voice in the industry. Their personality and how they come across it does ruin things sometimes, but
can't argue with me, bro. I'll block you. That's
yeah. It's his social media presence has changed a little bit in the last few years.
It's my protocol. Give me fucking credit. Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up. I'm not going to give you credit because you fucking asked for it, wank.
Me and you have had this conversation many a time. Like, your credit come from making a massive impact on the industry, potentially saving lives, right? You've done your impact.
Credit, mate.
That is your credit. You've done something that people for decades beforehand hadn't been able to do. There's your credit.
If this man, if he came out there and said, I'm sorry for cutting you off again, I'm getting excited. If he just come out there and said, hey guys, I see people are using this method. I just like it knowing that I was the creator of it. I'm a massive fucking supporter of people getting amongst it. Keep on doing what you're doing. You're letting people know that it is yours, but you ain't moaning about it, and you'd become a hero. I'd rate you, but now I don't rate you. One, because you blocked me, and two, because you sound like a penis.
I'm sorry, but fucking the guy that invented fucking LSD, right? Really weird, shitty example this is. You don't see him fucking getting gas because everyone's using LSD and not giving him credit for discovering the fucking drug. Mate, you've discovered how to use drugs in a better way. Great, but you can't copyright something like that. You've just looked at research that's been done by scientists, and just picked parts of the research and put it together. Write a paper with all of your knowledge that you've collected. Write a fucking paper, cite it, accredit it, do it all properly, publish it. Copyright. Victor Black model. Boom. There you go. You've got something to credit now. Like, great, but you're just sharing free information and putting out educational content. Your reward was making an impact. You've done that job. Keep doing that job. Don't stop. Don't turn into an arsehole now and stop helping.
Isn't it? Fuck you guys. No one gives me credit anyway.
It's not why we should be doing this anyway.
No.
Because eventually, if everyone who has that similar approach and has that voice in the industry and the ability and knowledge to do that, if they all group together and carry on doing it, eventually bodybuilding will go in the direction we want it to. And that's as little deaths as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to be in that boat.
Yeah, I've got my echo coming up in, I'm thinking, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll be getting mine done with the blood lab.
So there's something to talk about. So in my family,
you go through that. I'm going to the toilet.
Genetic predisposition. So this is something there's been quite a lot of bodybuilders in the amateur region. So in the UK specifically, the amateurs who have come out and done echocardiograms and realised that I don't want to say the damage done, but the impact of their past usage or the cost that comes with taking this risk has maybe led to a situation that they're not comfortable with, right? Where they look at their left ventricular growth in the heart and they go, actually, if I carry on doing this for the next 5-10 years, it might not be worth it, because at the moment right now, it's manageable. 10 years time, it may not be, and you could run into heart complications, heart attack, so on and so forth. So checking out genetic predispositions within your family, I think, is something that should be heavily pushed. It's really super easy to do. You can use a company called 23andMe. Now, they will not tell you bodybuilding specific things, right? They'll tell you things like the genomic coding that tells you your eye color, your taste palette, all this kind of pointless stuff. But what you can do with that coding is then take it to a respective voice within the scientific community who understands genetic coding, or there is a website, I will have to find it and I'll link it in the comments, where you can input your coding data from the results from the 23andMe, and it will tell you specifically within heart, health conditions, things that you should maybe be aware of, right? So use myself, for example. There's a genetic predisposition for enlarged heart that run in my family. My granddad, my dad, and potentially me, but I don't know yet. I'm going to get my echo done soon to see if there's been any changes. The last time I had my heart checked, which was 3 years ago, which was a long time, should have been done a lot more regular than that. Again, so apologies by me. it all runs in the family, right? So there's a chance, or there's a greater chance, that it's something that I may have as an issue as I grow older. Now, my dad and granddad didn't develop it until they were in their late 30s, 40s, but it did lead to my granddad having 2 heart attacks before he realized. My dad was lucky enough to find out that he had one early, hasn't had a heart attack yet, but he's got, measurements in place to control and mediate that risk. This is something that you can dive into now at the start of your journey. And I spoke about, I've done a YouTube video looking at how we use echocardiogram to kind of look into this sort of stuff. And I know I'm using heart as one example, but you can check your genetic coding for anything, right? But what you do is you take your echocardiogram, and in that one acute setting, you might just look at it and go, yep, everything's all healthy. But what that then allows is that 12 months down the line, after you've done X, Y, and Z compounds and drug use throughout that time window, you can look at the next reading on your echocardiogram, and you can see if there's been any changes to the modeling of the left side of the heart. And if there is, you can weigh it up and say, right, I did this for this long time. If I carry on doing this for another 5 years, chances are there'll be 5 times that change later down the line. So it gives you a nice, unique situation there where you can actually weigh up your risk reward profile and either make adjustments to lesser that risk or weigh up whether it's worth it, and that's, you just missed a big portion on genetics there. Just took a 23andMe test. But yeah, so like I said, the genetic coding that you can get done, you can then apply that into pancreatic health, brain health, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis. So there's plenty. Another thing runs in my family is Alzheimer's. So taking caution with potentially extremely more neurotoxic drugs is something that I have to be cautious of. I also have to set up my supplementation from a nootropic standpoint to help try and offset this as best as possible. Again, without doing that testing, I would not be able to know. I wouldn't be able to do it. I will be running it again. Not that I need to, but I want to make a YouTube video and actually go through the process of getting them through the results and showing you guys how it all gets done. So I will be doing that soon. Just something to look out for. But yeah,
once we get ours done, it'll be great to come back, obviously, and talk about it. I'll be honest. Was I looking at getting an echocardiogram recently? Yeah, I was. But then again, of course, with what's going on bodybuilding, a friend within the industry. Well, I won't say we're friends, but we've known each other through bodybuilding. Obviously, Corey. And obviously he had his issues, and other guys after that, he caused a bit of a wave and like spread some fucking quality awareness.
I didn't even think to mention Corey, but that's the perfect example. Someone who relatively on paper seemed healthy, good, and didn't have a clue what was going on. And it turns out that, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but it turns out he had a predisposition genetically to have an enlarged heart not from bodybuilding, but from a young age prior to going enhanced and stuff. So that's what the likelihood of it was.
Yeah.
Again, you don't know unless you get checked. This is something that we all should aggressively be pushing to look into.
One thing I recommend on every single person and any of my clients: do not fucking question a cost on bodybuilding or bodybuilding health. Doesn't come into it. I had it the other month. It was like, I got hammered with fucking outgoings on fucking loads of shit went on. And then Joe was like, blood lab are coming down your way. And I was like, do you want me to get them done? He was like, yeah. Checked in, 100 odd quid, whatever it was. And it's like, don't get me wrong, you don't expect all that money to go up. I'm not fucking skid by any means, but it's when you think, fuck, I'm like, am I really going to be saving less this month? Don't question it. Just get it done, get it out there. There is no negative from it. Everyone can earn money again. Other people who think, oh, fuck that. Once they find out how much things cost, it's going to be a few hundred quid a pop for certain things health related, because it's like private healthcare, mate, essentially. Do you know what I mean? You're invested in your fucking self. You could go down the route of going GPs and things like that. But from what I've been told, they're very sticky about what they do for you. If they know you take steroids, well, we're not going to fucking help you then. Or they just say simply, stop doing them.
Yeah.
That's all they can say. Their knowledge is very limited unless you go see a specialist on it. Unfortunately enough, I get private healthcare through my family, which is fucking handy. I've even got to go see them soon for fucking my back and things like that. Might be well, that's the route for some people. Like GPs, they're renowned for being shit. I'm not saying they are shit, but all people don't appreciate is how busy they are. you're not going to be put at the top of the list to be helped because you fucking want help with your steroid use.
Thing to also remember is your GP is your general practitioner, right? The big focus being on general. They have an overview of what they're taught and what they are supposed to look out for, but that does not mean they know the ins and outs and the intricacies that apply to people using supraphysiological doses of hormones. For that, you need to go and speak to an endocrinologist or someone within that field who specializes there. A good GP would probably refer you to someone next, but their first thing they're told to tell you is, well, you take something you shouldn't be taking, so stop taking it, and that will fix the problem. But obviously, for bodybuilders, that's not really a viable solution if you're trying to be a pro. You can't just stop taking gear because that's sadly a part of the industry to achieve the level of physique that they achieve. So don't go to your GP expecting an answer because they won't be able to give you it. You need to go up higher, which is why I always say, sadly, the cost is the cost, and you're better off going private because you can be truthful and honest, and you will get, because you're paying for that time and that service, you will get an honest, real answer. You won't just get fobbed off. And like Al said, there's no cost to this. Bodybuilding is actually really cheap. Food costs what it costs. Going to a gym membership costs what it costs. Drugs, cycles. Yeah, do you know what? They're not actually that expensive. What, 30 quid for a bottle of test? And if you're only using test only, it could potentially last you 3 months. Fucking result. What people don't factor in is all the supplementation, the normal subs, over-the-counter subs that you need to take to help mitigate the potential risk. And you're only mitigating it. You're not cancelling them out. You're just trying to reduce the risk as much as possible. Then you start looking into echocardiograms that are probably 200 quid plus a go, depending on where you go to get them done privately. Calcium score tests, regular blood work when it's necessary. If you're going to get a full proper blood work panel done via someone like the blood labs, it can range from like 100 to 200 quid. This is where the expense comes from. It's not bodybuilding itself, but it's being healthy. And if you're not, genuinely, if you're not in a position to avert that cost, lose that money, then you shouldn't really be taking that jump and going down this route, because you're taking a risk. Obviously, everyone's risk is their own to take. You know, it's not for me to decide or anyone else. That's one of the biggest things with coaching. Like, everyone has their own risk reward. But I'm not particularly confident in saying, let's do this, 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 and this, when I can't know that what we're doing is okay and it's not doing damage.
Yeah, I'm the same. If you're going to do bodybuilding right, I believe it's fucking expensive. You know, there have been numerous times where I question, I have a good earning job, I have my business, I cannot believe how much of money I put into this. But you wouldn't change it, and you become content with investing that money because you have the true belief it's going to pay off.
Yeah, 100%.
And that it will pay for itself at some point. You have to think like that. If you don't think like that, then bro, you ain't got no belief in yourself. And if you haven't got that belief, let me be the guy to tell you, bro, have the belief. You know, get it done, because we can be in the same boat together, just hoping it's going to happen.
I jacked in my stable day job. I saved up enough money from that to cover me as a safety net for 6 months, and I made the jump. I went, right, I'm going full-time coaching. I've been doing it for a while now, part-time. I need to commit because it's my passion in life. Coaching is my passion, not bodybuilding. Coaching first, then bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. You can make it work.
It's interesting you say that, because bodybuilding is my passion first, then coaching.
This is why me and you work out, because we're different. We're not the same person, right? This is why
we'd argue if we were the same.
Exactly. And it's just about committing. It's committing to it. Putting yourself in a position where you can make bodybuilding viable. And that's how I did. You know, I'm very fortunate that I love coaching and that it is able to let me bodybuild comfortably. But you should, if you're not in a position to do it comfortably, I don't recommend it. You can keep making progress naturally. You can keep making progress with food and training. You can do it.
Yeah. Just what people need above all. Don't get me wrong, like I bodybuilt when I was grafted on the railway, sweating my ass off, like 12-hour shifts, digging out sleepers, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, rough or smooth. Sometimes you're there a long time, sometimes you're not there a lot. I can make it happen. I prepped in that job. I still got it done whilst grafting. There are jobs which graft harder. I have clients who are fucking scaffolders, guys in the military, people who can still get it done, you know, because you just can. It's not hard. All you've got to do is, can you take your meals with you? That's all you've got to worry about at work. Can you take your meals with you? That's the biggest worry. If you can't do that, well, I'm sorry, but you can. I don't care if you're sneaking rice cakes while your fucking manager's facing the other way under the desk. Couldn't care. I don't care if you're saying you're going for a fag, but you're going for your car and you're going to have a meal. Get it done. If you really wanted to, you could. And if you're telling me you can't, you don't want it bad enough. Simple as that, mate. I was always known walking up the railway. If I got my bag on me, they know what's in it. And they know if they touched it, I'd fucking knock them out because they do not touch the food bag. Honestly, everyone, because people respect it, you know, they're like, fair play to you, man. Like, we're gonna go get Morley's, middle of fucking central London, gonna go get some chicken because we're on a grafter, it's pissing hard of rain, everyone's covered in shit, and there's me with my beef and broccoli, stone cold. Oh yes, farting up the railway, middle of London. That's how we do. You know what I mean?
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Swinging the topic of conversation a little bit, man. We had the Universe this weekend, PCA Universe. For those listening, obviously, if you're not from the UK, PCA is just one of the federations that we have here, one of the big ones in the country. And they had their PCA Universe, which is kind of like it's a strange one. We got the PCA UK finals, which is like the finals of all of the UK comps, and then the Universe is like the collective of all the European competitions, like people that have won and earned their place from that, all come over to compete. And I just got to say one thing: the bikini class was obviously stacked out as per.
Yeah,
they usually do short and tall, but obviously they had enough athletes to do short, medium, and tall. Mate, the bikini short like caliber was ridiculous, fucking ridiculous.
What else? You were there. I wasn't. I ain't got much to say on it.
It was just fucking insane. Like,
were you having a bit of brain fog thinking about these bikini girls or something?
Oh man, come on! Look, I ain't no Yannick. Fuck off.
Woo. Yeah, that man can fuck off.
That's a conversation for another time, man. I'll get heated about that. Then we're not going there. But no, the standard was insane. It was quite cool because we see the UK PCA scene and we see who's winning shows and who's kind of up there within the rankings and doing really well. And then all of a sudden, these people from Bulgaria, Hungary, Portugal, Spain, they're just turning up, and it's just insane. It's so nice to see the caliber of athletes when you go to a show like the Universe. Just turn up, man. It is fantastic. And the setup they had was ridiculous for the athletes. They didn't just have like some shitty corridor pump up.
I saw the gym.
They had a whole gym setup with plates, dumbbells, bands, plate loaded kit. Like, it was that's how I would expect like a show to be done. Like, it obviously not.
It makes me want to do it.
Not every not every facility can handle that. Some of these shows aren't exactly in the biggest of places, so you can't have a full gym set up in them. But man, the how much detail they put into their athletes was ridiculous. They got treated well. That was how I'd want to be treated as an athlete. It was sick. The pro show, I didn't hang around for the pro show, sadly, because it ran very, very late. I'm going to blame the bikini girls for that one because their class was so long. It was so fucking long. But yeah, I missed the pro show and only caught the Instagram highlights or everything. But Dean White looked fucking phenomenal. Mate, me and you have been saying this a week just on the phone, like watching him come in. Like, that is the prime definition of someone who knows their place within where they are. Like, you see all these amateurs coming up where they're like pro card hunting, pro card this, pro card that. All they talk is shit, essentially. That's a man who's not talked no gas. He's just been working. He's been doing his thing, getting it done. He's built a pro-worthy physique. And to a degree, he just doesn't, I don't know, he's so humble about it. He just turns up, he does a job, and just looks fucking insane. He's called the Great White.
I started following him like 2017, because then I think his last show was 2018 before this one.
Yeah.
He's just had 3 years out, or 2.5 years with a prep, whatever. I already looked at him as one of the best in England then. Like, I liked the way he looked, just like the way he looked. And then to see him start prepping me, I even messaged him. I was like, mate, I am gassed for you. Like, I blew smoke up, even if we don't even need it, because I actually followed him since when I started bodybuilding.
Yeah. And
then you just see the true definition of someone taking the time away to create something phenomenal. He was already phenomenal. He was already a PCA pro, for God's sake. And they don't just hand out. They probably hand out IFBB pro cards more than they do PCA pro cards these days. I don't like to say that unwillingly.
It's they've got a different look. Within each of their categories, they've got different slightly changing criteria to things that they particularly like as opposed to other federations. You can see it when you compare the PCA girls, like the girls to the Two Bros girls.
Bikini is the standout one.
It's the one with the biggest change when you compare PCA to Two Bros. Like there's two very different looks to the physiques. But yeah, no, it's it is quite mad when you compare them. I think they're both in the same class and look relatively completely different.
Yeah, I'm not saying by any means. Of course, IFBB Pro is just, if you look at a men's bodybuilder PCA Pro compared to an IFBB Pro, of course, there's a fucking very big difference, and it is muscular size. But what I'm saying is, it seems the PCA give PCA Pro cards when they feel like it. There's no I think there's no particular event, is there?
Well,
to give one out.
I believe the finals and the amateur universe, so the show on the Saturday, not the Sunday of the universe, is the opportunity where all of the winners from overalls, and if you they will give you your opportunity to come to the universe or the British finals, depending on if you look good enough. Sometimes they'll give the first, second, third, and fourth a place at the universe. Sometimes, even though they don't place in the top three, the pro card isn't guaranteed if you win your class at the universe. I don't want to use Kaya as an example, but Kaya was in the junior bodybuilding. He won his class, but he didn't get his PCA Pro card. I don't know if they don't give them to juniors, but it was similar throughout the other classes. If you're worthy of it, they'll give it to you, which is quite cool.
Just because you won doesn't mean they'll give it to you.
Yeah, just because you win doesn't mean you automatically got your card. So you're kind of waiting. When you win, you're also waiting to hear if they go, and you're new. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. But yeah, here's an interesting one for you. Where do you stand on? It's quite big, obviously, in the female category at the moment, bikini specifically. Where I can't remember if it's PCL Two Bros. Some of the girls are too big, muscularity wise, right? Now, to me and you and to everyone else, we call that pro worthy. They are already the goal within men's bodybuilding is when you win your pro card, it's usually because your physique is more or less ready to be in the mix with the pros. You might be at the bottom, but you're at that caliber now, right? So that's when you're worthy of the card. Some girls have been slated for being too big. When you look at them, they look like bikini pros. They look like IFB bikini pros, but they don't place at the show because they are too good. How does that work? How do they not?
When was this?
Recently, some of the feedback for some of the girls has been you're too big. Like you're already pro worthy. Like surely that is the goal.
What federation is this?
I can't remember. I think it was I'm pretty sure it was Two Bros. It was about IFBB, and saying that you have to look like a good amateur. You can't look like a pro.
Yeah, like I saw it before. Ryan Cartwright, who's now an IFBB Pro Classic Physique, he was told at a show before, pro qualifier, because obviously he's at the level when he was going for his pro card. They said he was too big for Classic. Yet when he wins his pro card, he gets an extra 12 pounds stage weight limit. So that opinion, that whoever fucking said that needs a slap in the face. That's if that's what was said properly. That's what I was told. It's like, hang on, you were told you were too big. Like, what?
I understand them giving the weight cap increase when you go to pro. But if someone looks too big but still makes the weight cap, that makes no sense.
Yeah, but it's just the fucking bollocks, isn't it? So,
well, it's just where do they go from there, though? If you don't have the increase in the classic limit,
you go to an international show where you've got other people the same size as you.
Yeah, but you've still got to make, if the weight cap remain the same. So if they increase the weight cap for amateurs,
what I'm saying is get away from that fucking judge who ever said that to you, because they chat shit.
True. Yeah, true. I'll just say plausibly, if they increase the weight cap for amateurs, you'd see a lot better classic physiques. But then would that translate into the pro league though? Because then they've already hit the weight cap in the amateur league. What other room have they got left to add more tissue?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Was I boring you? Because I'm not talking about open bodybuilding.
No, because I'm fucking tired for some reason. I think there should be a weight cap. Whoa. There should be a weight cap should be it's one of those things, isn't it? Should there be a weight cap? Should there not?
It hinders some people, but works majority of the time. It works really well. But there are a few athletes that do get shot shit by it. It does fuck their career potentially up.
Mm.
But then in that case, they have to go to open. That's just the rules, isn't it? Like you have to go up to the bodybuilding category if you're too big for classic. Classic lines and flow is not marked in open bodybuilding, but if you've got a good aesthetically pleasing physique, you could look bigger than all the other guys, even though you might not be.
It's one of those, I see their opinion on it is because then there's an amateur level and there's a pro level.
And there's a definitive line of...
Yeah, but it's like some guys can't get their pro card because they're too big.
Yeah.
What you're going to have to do is, mate, you're going to have to turn pro in the open and then you'll be able to compete as fucking in the classic, you know?
Yeah, it seems stupid, doesn't it? It does seem stupid, but there has to be a cut-off at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, what's going on with you and food at the moment? How's the off-season feeling?
I feel heavy this week. I do feel heavy.
We've reached the crossover point, guys, where I'm now lighter than out.
Yeah. But if we were to put fucking body and height together, I was already fucking bigger than it. So it don't even matter. It's been going well. It was the first week. Like I did a deficit at the start of the year, like I mentioned. I'm now 10 kilos up since then. So that's nice, 22 pounds in the bag. Obviously not all muscle tissue, not all fat, wherever the fucking fine line is, whatever it is. We're trying to make the physique a bit more even, leg dominated block, 3 lowers, 3 uppers a week. It's nice because my quads are coming up nicely already, which has already been noticed. And I can feel like I'm being pushed with my lower sessions, therefore it's going to force growth. Like I can feel I'm being forced to grow, and there's no doubt about that's happening. Food's at a good place. I'm at 575 carb, 60 gram of fat, 245 protein, about 4,000 calories, which is nice and easy to get in. It's the only time I felt like I was not wanting to get food in as much, but still getting it in was during a deload, you know, because that expenditure wasn't there. The want for food wasn't exactly the drive for food wasn't there. But yeah, it's been going well. I'm strong as fuck. So that's the quality. I'm not the strongest I've ever been. I've got some niggles and injuries going on, which is pain in the ass. Just small injuries I don't want to make worse. I need to get my back looked at because I injured it on the hack squat a fucking few months ago and it's still there. So that's why I got to get in contact with these guys to fucking get it looked at by a physio. We have our sponsor 3 Degrees, but there's certain limits of what that profession can give us, and he couldn't. So I need to go elsewhere. Lucky enough, I can go private with it. Hopefully, it won't cost on top of that, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's one of the perks though of having someone like Mark. Like he's not just going to try and blag you into making it out like he knows. He won't.
Oh, no, he didn't tell me fucking anything. So it was hard. It was, like I went to him 3 times about it. So it's not getting better. It's not getting better. I'm still in pain. And I told my mum about it. Mum was, oh, you know, we get private healthcare, right? I was like, okay, thank you. Can I have? She was, I'll send you the details and get in touch with them. Just to get a physio appointment booked. Just even if it's like it could be a trapped nerve or something, like it could easily be something like that. It's only on one side. It's
Weird,
just there when
Mark hasn't picked up on that though, because if it's something benign and little, that's usually.
Oh, I don't fucking know. I've got my own conversations to have with Mark about things like that's something else to go through off this. But yeah, could get that looked at. If I need to get pulled about, we've played about, stretched out, whatever. Just I cannot hack squat at the minute. Pendulum is still doing me in, but I still need to do it. So I force myself to do it. So I'm not exactly helping myself ideally, but I feel limited and I don't like to be limited because I need to fucking smash myself. I need to progress and I am going to progress, but there's maximum in there and there's optimal and there's what I'm up to, which is a little bit over here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that sums up bodybuilding though. That you're never going to walk through this completely unscathed unless you're very fortunate. I think it's just part and parcel of the job. There's going to be niggles and stuff you have to work around. There's always something. My knee's never been right since I did my patella. It's always something rolling around.
Yeah. My delt hurts again.
Stop pinning it then.
Can't help it. I'm melted on the chest. I went to do it and I was like, yeah, no.
You gotta open up more sites, man. Scar tissue's no joke.
I know it's not. But it's because I already loaded 2.5 mil in there. I was like, oh, do you really want to load 2.5 mil in the first jab site you're doing there?
What? Are you microdosing?
Bro, I don't microdose. I 4 times a week.
Oh. You're
But,
gonna
I'm gonna have to wrap this up because I need to go clean my car.
awful excuse to not talk bodybuilding, but yeah, all good, man. All good.
No, because I'm meeting Els at her mum's place. So
all good.
But yeah, we breezed on a lot then. We'll cover some more fun stuff next time, as normal.
Coming up, we do have an interesting episode on biomechanics.
Yes.
So
biomechanics is coming through. Savage.
I was going to say we do have a special guest coming on, but I guess you've kind of let the cat out of the bag there.
Who knows? She's not too famous anyway, so but she's fucking knowledgeable.
Anyway, guys, until the next time, peace.
Peace.